I really don't understand tariffs. Honestly, I just know they f***ed us up.
All we heard was drill, drill, drill during the election, and now all we're getting is drilled into the dirt with these prices.
Yeah, we voted for Trump because he promised while he was campaigning like a million times that when he got into office, he was going to bring down prices, bring down grocery prices.
Somebody to tell me they're lying right now because what the do you mean that I'm not going to get my SNAP benefits? What the do you mean?
We are possibly going to lose our farm if NRCS doesn't hold up their contract with us on the EQIP program. Because of the executive orders, there's a pause or a freeze on the funding, and they're not able to pay out on the stuff that we completed or anything going forward.
Beyond betrayed. They used us during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party. They actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
I mean, you're an educator. You didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds.
No, I did not vote for that. I do not think that's what the voters want. If we have federal cuts, then that's going to mean bigger classroom sizes. I would lose teachers, first and foremost. It's devastating.
I ain't never seen Vegas look like this on a Saturday at 1 in the morning. Where's the people? Holy shit, dude. What the fuck? Like, I can't make this shit up. Holy shit, bro. This is a Saturday at 1 in the... Where are the fucking people? Look, even on the Venetian Bridge over there. Nobody.
Donald Trump is officially the least liked person to ever serve in the Oval Office. Ever. Donald Trump is now more unpopular, more disliked, more distrusted on the issues than Richard Nixon. He has a lower approval rating on the handling of gas prices than Jimmy Carter. Everyone, except a handful of MAGA lunatics, hates Donald Trump and every single thing that he has done. And I'm not just saying this as a matter of opinion. I am saying this based on the most recent Washington Post, ABC News, Ipsos poll. This is the worst poll that Donald Trump has ever gotten to date, and let me read you these numbers. His overall approval rating is 37%. Disapproval rating overall, 62%, a 25-point gap. On the issue of inflation, on the issue of cost of living, 76% disapprove. Inflation, 72% disapprove. Iran, 66% disapprove. Relations with allies, 65% disapprove. The economy, 65% disapprove. Taxes, 61% disapprove. Immigration, 59% disapprove. And U.S.-Mexico border, 54% disapprove. So we are talking about 8 issues, the 8 big issues in America today. And Donald Trump, his best issue is U.S.-Mexico border, and he's still 9 points underwater on that. His big issue he campaigned on, immigration, 19 points underwater on immigration.
President Trump is tired of hearing about how much things are costing you.
So I don't want to hear about the affordability because right now we're much less. If you look at energy, we're getting close to $2 a gallon gasoline. With Biden, it was $4.50, $5. Another thing, inflation. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Now we have virtually no inflation at all. It's down at a very low number and a very normal number.
That was Trump just last night. Now, you can feel any way you want about what the president just said. As always, I do not report on feelings in this video. I'm going to get into the actual facts and the numbers when it comes to what he's talking about, gasoline and inflation. But before I do that, I just want to take you back a few years. Do you remember when inflation was really high? And I was reporting on it here on my page every single month. But President Biden and his entire administration would say up and down and over again that inflation was transitory. And then when the inflation numbers did actually start to come down, the Biden administration kept saying, see, the economy is getting better. But you called bullshit. You said over and over that the cost of living was too high. I know, because you were telling it to me in my comment section too. And that was happening because you were feeling the long-term effects of inflation. You were seeing it in your grocery prices and your gas prices. And because of that disconnect between what you were saying very loudly about the very real cost of living.
I am forewarning you, you need to fucking sit down for this one. I'm serious, and you need to grab a Trump supporter. And listen to this. Trump is seeking to pay for his new $1.5 trillion military budget by cutting the following: $510 million grants for farmers, $82 million loans for rural small businesses, fully eliminates that program. $61 million support for farmers, fully eliminated. $240 million school meal and food education. $659 million community building grants. $49 million support for minority-owned businesses, fully eliminated. $449 million economic development grants for communities. $1.6 billion weather forecasting, fisheries, and coastal protection. NOAA, the program they already cut, which has led to a shit ton of people dying over these weather events. $993 million scientific research and technology standards. $150 million support for American exports and trade. $2.2 billion broadband internet access in rural areas where farmers are and underprivileged people are, and they don't have access to the internet. $8.5 billion funding for public schools at a time when all our tax dollars are going to these goddamn voucher programs to rich kids. $1.5 billion vocational training programs, fully eliminated. Training that's needed because everybody's losing their jobs over AI. $2.7 billion college access and higher education support. $15.2 billion roads, bridges, and infrastructure projects. Contractors who own businesses, if you voted for Trump, this means you getting less money awarded for bids. You're not going to get them. $1.1 billion home energy efficiency and clean energy programs fully eliminated at a time when fuel prices are skyrocketing. $1.1 billion scientific research funding. We're going backwards. $386 million environmental cleanup programs. Look at the environmental disasters we're doing overseas, bombing all these oil refineries. $150 million cutting edge clean energy research. $4 billion help paying home heating and cooling bills for low income families. Fully eliminated. $5 billion public health programs, mental health services, and disease prevention. Look at how many people died already with the recent listeria outbreak. $775 million local anti-poverty programs, fully eliminated. $5 billion medical research. Think of all the people with cancer waiting for the next treatment that can save their lives. $129 million healthcare quality and safety research. $756 million emergency preparedness and disaster response. $1.3 billion FEMA community disaster preparedness grants. $707 million cybersecurity protection for critical infrastructure that's going to be targeted by foreign adversaries because we're waging this war. $52 million airport and transportation security. $40 million protection against chemical and biological warfare threats, again at a time we're waging war. $53 million funding for homeland security operations. $3.3 billion community development block grants for local neighborhoods, fully eliminated. $1.3 billion affordable housing construction grants, fully eliminated. I thought this fucking administration was about affordable housing. And if you're a contractor that already was awarded grants to build affordable housing, you're screwed. How many of you supported Trump? $1.3 billion programs to reduce homelessness. $529 million housing assistance for people living with AIDS. When you're advanced with AIDS, you can't work. $489 million housing and services for Native American communities we already decimated. $50 million grants to help communities build more housing, fully eliminated. $60 million enforcement of fair housing and anti-discrimination laws. How fucking convenient. $53 million home buyer and rental counseling services, $45 million renewable energy development programs. Here's one, $1.7 billion grants for local law enforcement and public safety. Hey, MAGA mayors, MAGA police officers, MAGA city council members, your Support Blue programs are being cut. How do you like that? How many of you supported Donald Trump? 1.6 billion job training for at-risk youth, 234 million worker safety and labor protection programs. Look how many people died on the job in 2026 alone. 101 million enforcement of equal pay and workplace anti-discrimination laws. 46 million programs to combat child labor and forced labor. 2 billion international humanitarian aid, including the humanitarian crisis we're causing right now with this war. 1.2 billion food aid for hungry families abroad, fully eliminated. 4.3 billion global health and disease prevention programs, diseases that start overseas get carried over here. 642 million international economic and treasury programs, 350 million democracy and anti-corruption programs, 486 million grants for public transit projects at a time that oil prices are sky high, $4.2 billion electric vehicle charging infrastructure, 372 million airline services for rural and small communities, 145 million grants for sustainable and equitable infrastructure, 204 million loans and investment for underserved communities, 1.4 billion IRS taxpayer services and enforcement, 100 million air pollution monitoring reduction programs fully eliminated, 1 billion EPA grants to states for environmental protection, 2.5 billion clean drinking water and wastewater infrastructure funds, 90 million grants to reduce diesel pollution, billions and billions and billions for NASA programs. This is going to make Elon so happy because he gets more money for SpaceX programs. 170 million small business administration operations, 150 million loans for small businesses at a time when so many people are losing their careers to AI and need to start small businesses because there's no other jobs out there. We're waging this war for a country that provides free health care. And this supports Project 2025 that wants to eliminate all federal programs so states get all the power to run their country like mini Christian white nationalist governments.
Hey, what's up, America? The cost of living here in the United States is still way too high. And massive amounts of people are still financially struggling, even though the stock market is the highest it's ever been. So even though Elon Musk is a trillionaire and the top 1% have gained hundreds of percent in the last couple of years, the general population here in the United States, the majority of the people, approximately 70%, are struggling financially every single day. Most cannot pay all their bills. The amount of cars being seized for non-payment is going up steadily. Houses are being seized also due to inability to pay the mortgage. Same with property tax. You're getting a lot of houses being taken because of non-payment of property tax now as well. Food prices remain high. Gas prices are starting to come down, thank God, but diesel prices need to come down a lot in order to get the products we have to lower the prices just across the board there. Home prices are still about an average of $410,000, give or take, which is out of reach for most Americans. And wages are still stagnant, only going up a couple of percent in the last several years, even though inflation has more than doubled what you've been paid as far as a wage increase, for the most part. The cost of rent throughout the United States is once again the highest it's ever been, and insurance costs are simply not worth it in a total ripoff. Some people with $10,000 or more deductibles that are crippling them. And the same with auto and home insurance. It's ridiculous. And we could go on and on about high meat prices, high food prices, drink prices, everything prices. But the value of the dollar needs to go up and prices need to come the fuck down. That's all there is to it. Price gouging and horrible economic prowess. Now we need to get our shit together one way or another and stop the price gouging. It's every fucking business, every industry, and everything even outside of breathing has been monetized. It's too fucking much for everybody. The expectation you put on your citizenry is simply too fucking much. Stop it. You greedy fucking whores.
Trump just raised your taxes more than anyone else in history. He just put tariffs on pretty much everything that you buy. Your groceries, your gas, your car, the clothes you wear, everything is about to get a lot more expensive because of Trump. It's the largest tax hike in the history of this country. The stock market is cratering. Companies are saying that they're going to be laying off people. It's a mess. Pretty much every economist in the world knows that this is a bad idea, but he's doing it anyway. Because when small businesses suffer, the biggest businesses in the country can then buy them up. So the richest people get richer while you suffer. It's the heist of the century, the great American scam.
If you're a Trump supporter, just know that there are 4 things that everybody who's not a Trump supporter thinks about you. And so far, you've done nothing to disprove these things. 1, you're uneducated. And I don't mean uneducated in the sense that you didn't go to school and learn to read or do basic arithmetic. I mean you're uneducated as far as what's going on in the world. You got goggles on, only paying attention to what you want to pay attention to. Dose, you lack empathy. You don't care what happens to somebody else as long as it doesn't happen to you. Imagine for a moment the government started saying, hey, your marriage is illegal. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? But you don't care that it's happening to gay people as long as it doesn't happen to you. 3, you lack independent thinking skills, meaning you are incapable of forming your own thoughts, opinions, or viewpoints on things. You need pundit talking points from Fox News or whatever that other OAN. You need those people to tell you what to believe. You don't have the ability to look into those claims and maybe think something else. It's a confirmation bias. You live in this bubble and you refuse to step outside of it. 4, and I think this is the most important one. I think this is the one you really need to work on if you have the ability, and that is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to look at a situation and say to yourself, you know what, that's kind of fucked up. That's not right, and you can't do that. So I look forward to all the laughing emoji reactions to this video because the people that I just made these claims about don't have the ability to defend themselves. So they do so just with the laughing emoji. So
Women curse out for Trump to save Americans.
If you see this, please save us. I don't even see our American flag anymore. Biden's talking with some kind of crazy flag. This is America. This is our land. Please, President Trump. Please, I hope you have a plan. But God, please save us. Save us from the devil, please. Y'all are about to have a panic attack. This is our country. Our country.
There is no good thing about living in New York. It's expensive. My apartment, all the windows look out onto brick walls. I got mice. I got cockroaches the size of cigarette lighters. There's nothing good about living in New York. New York sucks.
Oh my gosh, $21.99 a pound, $42.82 for those 2 ribeyes.
This much of fucking toilet paper? $32.99. Am I?
But I have a question. Since when is a Cheeto bag $7.29?
I've never
is crazy.
American dollars. Dog.
$8 for a 12-pack of pop? I mean, that seems a little steep. Is it just me or?
Coffee is very expensive now, y'all. Look at it, $24.
What's going on?
I just want no cereal. Cereal, meal.
Marmite is $10.
That's fucking horrible.
Somebody explain this.
$7.49 for some hazelnut Nutella spread.
Hey, whoever thought of this shit, I'll beat your ass. $1.99 for a Capri Sun pouch, bro.